I would like to start this evening. I don't know how many of you followed the Walk for Peace, the monks who walked, 2,300 miles? I don't know, from Texas to Washington, D.C., in every weather, when they were ill, giving talks, and just very inspiring. And it was actually really beautiful to see how many people responded to them. And so this evening, in appreciation for what was offered, I'd like to have us practice the metta practice that Bhikkhu Panyakara offered on the Lincoln Memorial, the 10 vows. So we're just going to quietly go through those together for about 20 minutes. And I will read out each vow and invite you to hear what is said, see how it lands with you in your heart, and offer that back out into the world in any way, however it feels right to you, emanating these offerings. So if you would allow yourself to be in a position that is comfortable for your body, a position that invites being awake but also relaxed. You don't have to close your eyes if that does not feel comfortable, but if you'd like to, you're welcome to. If you keep your eyes open, if you could just find somewhere in front of you to just gently rest your gaze. Inviting your attention to drop into your heart space. Seeing if it's possible to connect with any warmth and care that may reside there. And letting that warmth spread through the body. And maybe even just feeling that warmth emanating from the body. And as you do this, I will offer these intentions. May every nation live in safety, stability, and dignity, free from fear, chaos, and unnecessary suffering. Just seeing if you can share that intention out into the world. May every person be heard, respected, and protected, regardless of their race, their background, their faith, and the language that they speak. May fear be replaced with understanding, and may misunderstanding never again become a reason for violence. May hatred be transformed into compassion, so pain is met with care instead of blame. May peace exist not only in words and speeches, but in laws, policies, communities, and daily life. May true strength be measured not by control, force, or weapons, but by how we protect one another, especially our children and the vulnerable. May progress always walk together with morality, and may growth never be built on human suffering. May dialogue be chosen over confrontation and listening over judgment in families, societies, and nations. May people find peace within their own hearts so that the world no longer needs violence to survive. May the path to peace require no enemies, only human beings returning to morality, to responsibility, and to one another. And of course, adding in your own heart, today is going to be my peaceful day. And imagine it rippling out into the universe and being showered back upon us. Okay, so tonight I want to talk about receiving care and compassion. And compassion is foundational to the teachings of the Buddha. It's a process which invites us to become aware of pain and suffering, feel care and concern, and take whatever action we can to alleviate pain and suffering. That's compassion. It's one of the 4 Brahma Viharas, or divine abodes, which are the heart practices taught by the Buddha. The other divine abodes are loving kindness, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. Recently, I began a year-long program with Natural Dharma Fellowship called Marga, with teachers Lama Liz Monson and Lama Willa Baker. And it focuses on compassion and the heart practices. And I've found practicing more intentionally with compassion to be a profound experience. The practice of awakening has 2 wings: wisdom and compassion, and both are needed for balance. And for some of us, it can feel more comfortable to practice in the wisdom wing, and for others, it can feel more comfortable to practice in the compassion wing. And though I practice compassion and care, I have found the wisdom wing of mindfulness and clarity more approachable for me. As a matter of fact, when I first began to practice loving kindness meditation, in which you offer care and compassion to self and eventually all beings, anxiety and discomfort arose. I've learned from years of teaching self-compassion, actually, that this is not an unusual experience. Many people can feel somewhat unsettled doing these heart practices. This discomfort continued until I began to practice self-compassion. There seemed to be a need for a stronger foundation within to be able to offer the care for others. The practice of self-compassion is impactful. You can find a great deal of research to support how meaningful self-compassion can be in a person's life. And I'm gifted with seeing this happen firsthand with many of the students that I teach. And yet I notice there continues to be a level of discomfort when practicing self-compassion and loving kindness. And I don't know if that's true for any of you. Here's what I've learned thus far from my journey with the Marga program. We have to actually practice receiving care. Allowing the vulnerability of deeply receiving care. Not just offering that care to self, but allowing that care to be felt, experienced, and incorporated. I think that may be hard for some of us. I know it's been a challenge for me at times. So what blocks us from allowing the experience of being cared for? It can be uncomfortable. So much so that I've spent much of my spiritual practice, as I said, in the wing of wisdom and not as much in compassion. And the answer to this question, like everything, is complicated. Each of us have experienced many causes and conditions that lead to this blocking of the heart. Personal interactions, issues with attachment, and relationships. And cultural, environmental conditions that influence how we process our experiences. The many, many stories that are created by these conditions. So as I mentioned already, metta, or loving kindness practice, used to increase my feelings of anxiety. I would actually sit there and notice a tightening in the chest and discomfort, and that was very unsettling, that I'm offering care and there I am making me feel more anxious. Again, so I learned of self-compassion, and this made a huge difference in my foundations of practice. But still, something felt blocked. Giving self grace in real moments of life, like when you think you've messed up somehow, or you believe you're being a burden. I don't know, maybe pause for a moment and see if there's any times in your life where maybe you were not the most appreciative or kind to yourself. So hard. A common block to receiving care and compassion is shame. You know that shame is ultimately identifying with the self. The Buddha taught nothing whatsoever should be clung to as I or mine. If we're not identifying with the self, we likely would not feel shame. Guilt, absolutely. It is wise to look at one's actions and consider their impact on others and the world. But shame? Shame is I. Shame is I am. I am not good enough. There's something wrong with me. So can you feel the identification with the small self with that? The psychologist and co-founder of the Mindful Self-Compassion program, Chris Germer, teaches this about shame. It is a wish to be loved. He describes shame as an innocent emotion. Germer invites us to look into the eyes of everyone we meet and know that behind those eyes, there's a wish to be loved. Imagine now what that would be like to look into the eyes of everyone you meet, even those who we dislike or feel anger towards, and see the wish to be loved. And in ourselves. We have a wish to be loved. But we have a story that says we have to deserve this love somehow. We have to earn it. Especially, and I want to really emphasize this, especially from ourselves. Our inner voices of how we are not good enough are the loudest. They are ever present. We can't walk out of the room and leave them behind. And as Kabat-Zinn so clearly states, wherever you go, there you are. So with the stories we tell ourselves, receiving care and compassion can be hard. But without that final gate being opened, our ability to have compassion for others and the world is also limited. Our heart minds cannot expand into the space of letting go, attachment, and clinging because we are clinging to something way down inside that is not true. The story that we are not good enough in some way and so cannot receive. We cannot receive love, care, and compassion. So we cannot be love, care, and compassion. We just can't. Here's what feels true to me and what I've heard many teachers say, that love and compassion is who we are. It's not something we have to create, to nurture, to cultivate. And it's not something we have to earn in order to deserve it. When we are able to be in awareness and just awareness, that love is the energy that remains. I ran across something someone shared on Threads about the wonderful poet Andrea Gibson. Kelsey Lucas wrote, "I can't stop thinking about these words by Andrea Gibson. Everything that you're feeling, name it love." Lately, I've been filled with so much rage, sadness, despair, fear. This is still Kelsey. But when I ask myself, why am I feeling all this? Love, 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 love. It's all just love. Realizing this makes sitting with it just a little bit easier. You see, we only experience strong emotions about something when we care about it. When something is meaningful to us. It's all love. The word love may not resonate with you, and that's okay. I find myself trying to find a word for what this is. Peace, acceptance, ease, warmth, benevolence. Love seems to come close. Honestly, it's unnameable. We can talk about how it feels in the body, warm, emanating, emotional. Still not the right word. It's okay not to have words. The heart knows what it is. It's valuable enough that the Buddha taught about love. On this it is said, a mindful one who develops limitless love weakens the fetters, seeing the ending of attachment. Loving just one creature with a hateless heart makes you a good person. Sympathetic for all creatures, a noble one creates abundant merit. It's all about love, and we are the manifestation of that love. Until we understand this, not just cognitively, but deeply, we will continue to follow the same patterns of living as we always have, feeling in some way not enough, trying to fix things and people, our compassionate care falling under an attachment to self, and most of the time trying to fix or protect ourselves in some way. Our minds actually spend much of the time thinking about self, but not in this core loving way. It's a self that needs protecting. It's a self that needs something to be okay. When we get very attached, it becomes selfish. Or in reactivity to distress, we may lose a sense of self, become amorphous, lost. And this too is a form of selfing. We can no more lose our fundamental selves than we can hold it together in some permanent way. Our habit of selfing is so strong that even in this teaching, the mind will go to, there's something wrong with me because I don't exist as pure love. It's valuable to understand that some brains never had the chance to create a neural pathway to be capable of experiencing this kind of love. And many of our brains still need some tuning in this area. It is similar to language. Babies are born with the capacity to learn all languages. This diminishes over time. Our brains get to the point where we cannot even discern certain sounds in languages different from our own. But the good news is it's possible to create new neural networks. We can learn to experience this unconditional love. When we can finally rest into the core of love within us, there's peace. Nothing to change. No one is the enemy. The world is both limitless and right here at the same time. So as I mentioned before, the good news is we can practice receiving care and compassion. And it does make a change in our neural pathways, slow and steady. Psychologist and mindfulness teacher Rick Hansen teaches a practice called HEAL, which he says can change neurobiology. First part of the practice, H, is to have a good experience. The E in the practice stands for elevate the response to the good experience. A stands for absorb. So the practice is to intentionally absorb the good feelings associated with the good experience. And finally, the L stands for link, in which we can pair good feelings with difficult memories or emotions to help them feel less intense or to be dissipated into the well of wholesome feelings. So if you're interested in that, you can find that practice online. Rick Hansen, HEAL practice. So we know then from research that there are practices that can change our neurobiology to allow greater capacity to receive care and compassion. And one way to practice receiving love is to do benefactor practices. There are practices taught through Natural Dharma Fellowship, which are adapted from Tibetan traditions. They invite visualizing a person or figure who makes you feel deeply loved, accepted, and safe, allowing you to receive their unconditional positive regard, especially during difficult times. So there's research to show that when we imagine doing something, such as playing the piano, we get better at it. Athletes, swimmers, for example, have known this for a long time. They practice their swim in their mind's eye, attaching a sense of achievement, creating stronger automatic pathways. When we visualize a benefactor sharing unconditional care and compassion with us, we're doing much the same thing. David Baer, a teacher for Natural Dharma Fellowship, says, "We take refuge in the care and compassion of the benefactor so we can recognize it in ourselves. Help us to see that we are seen, not so isolated." And Buddhist teacher and co-founder of the Zen Hospice Project, Frank Ostaseski, says, "Love is the fuel of the journey. The practice of loving kindness helps us to transform our feelings of separation into love." And so I'd like to walk us through what's called a caring moment practice, which is a benefactor practice, so you can get a sense for yourself if this feels useful. And this is an opportunity to let in some goodness. It's not a somber practice. we have a lot of practice with letting in negativity. I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 to 1 or something, or how many good things you need to have to offset however many. It's pretty high. And we do let those negative thoughts and responses, we do let those in pretty quickly and deeply. But the good stuff, not so much, right? So this is an opportunity, so I'd like to invite you to have that kind of intention when you go into this practice of letting in something good, okay? So once again, I am going to invite you to take a moment and allow your body to settle. Your body actually knows how to be comfortable. Just giving yourself a moment for the body to kind of find its own place. Eyes open or closed, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Having your spine be upright but relaxed. So you're maintaining the natural curvature of the spine. And we're going to do some deep breathing. And really using the exhale as a way to let go down into the feeling of the body. Dropping down out of thinking mind and into the feeling body. I invite you to breathe in a long, deep inhale down into the belly. And exhaling, relaxing, letting all the muscles just hang off your skeleton. And another long, deep inhale down into the belly. And releasing, relaxing, finding your home in the body. And one more long, deep inhale. Exhaling, falling down into the feeling body. Letting go of any worries, letting go of thoughts. Take a few more of these deep breaths, but in your own time. Focusing on releasing and relaxing with the exhale. And when you're ready, allowing the breath to just return to its own natural rhythm. Notice the groundedness of the body. The body's natural connectedness to the earth below. The stability of the body holding you right here in this moment. Let your awareness just settle with the feeling of the body breathing. The natural breath. Just letting yourself relax into the feeling of the body breathing. If you notice any thoughts starting to come, just see if the feeling of the body breathing can draw you back into oneness with it. And this next step is not meant to be effortful. Just allow whatever arises or even does not arise to be as it is. And bring to mind a caring moment that you experienced at some point. Could be quite recently, could be from the past, but bring to mind a moment when you found yourself with another person, or a pet, or maybe a place where you felt seen, loved, accepted, respected for just who you are. This could be a moment in presence with a spiritual teacher or even a childhood memory of watching Mr. Rogers. Again, just allowing whatever arises to be there. See if you can really bring that moment alive in your imagination. So you might remember where this was, the setting, the place. And if you can't come up with a moment, there is nothing wrong with you. You just don't have a lot of practice noticing those moments. And if you want, you can just focus on this moment. surrounded by Sangha. But if you do have a moment arise, see if you can really re-inhabit that moment as if it were happening right now. And as you bring this moment to mind, really seeing if you can call back up some of the same feelings that you had in that moment, where this other being or place was holding you, accepting you, loving you, letting you just be as you are. And relax into that felt sense of being seen. Being heard. Letting yourself just receive that caring energy, those tender qualities, almost as if there was a stream of radiant warmth coming towards you from this other being or from this place. And that stream of radiant warm energy is dissolving into all the pores of your body, into every layer of feeling, emotion, thought, your whole being pervaded by this warm radiance of acceptance and love, just as if you stepped outside into a warm ray of sunlight. Receiving this warmth into all the pores of your body, all the cells of your body. Just like the sunlight asks nothing from you, so too here, just receiving this warmth, this radiance, without having to do anything at all. Just allowing, receiving, relaxing. Every part of you loved in its very being. And if you notice that you're experiencing any resistance to receiving this radiant, loving energy, just receive that radiant, loving energy into that resistance. Let that energy permeate into that feeling of resistance. And if you notice the mind wandering and getting caught up in storylines, chains of thinking, and just freshly recall this caring moment and let that power of that loving energy Just draw you back into oneness with it. Just helping you to settle more and more deeply into that feeling of being seen and held and accepted and loved for just who you are. See how much you can just relax, just receive and allow, letting your heart and mind begin to trust, to release all of their images, their frameworks, so that your whole being becomes vast, empty like space, perfumed with the radiance of loving care and acceptance. Just allow any patterns of thought or feeling that arise, just allow them to unwind and release within this openness, this vastness of your own awareness. This space that is perfumed with warmth and with deep acceptance. Just letting it all be, just as it is. And letting go of any effort to remember or hold on to the caring moment. Just coming back to being present with the body, present with the breath. Letting yourself just be a body breathing in simplicity. Being a body breathing. And as we wind down, I'd like to share a poem by John Rodel. Don't leave this world with unspoken love. Untie your tongue. Turn your ribs into cathedral doors and swing them open, even if the hinges cry out from being still so long. Open your hands. Let what was hiding there see the sky. Break the quiet faucet inside you that has been holding back what was never meant to stay contained. Let the love inside you pour out unashamed and rising. Water your neighbor's lawn. Water the street. Flood the town. Let it run under locked doors and into the shoes of strangers. Let it ruin the careful architecture of loneliness. Let it rise to the rim of the horizon. This love we carry was never meant to sit in a library collecting dust or haunt a cave afraid of its own echo. It was made for breath, for trembling voices. Love was made for microphones. To love is the wildest risk of being human, a fool's gamble. If I love this person, will they love me back? Maybe not. But we love anyway, because if we don't, we freeze over like a winter river, forgetting it was ever meant to move. Love is motion. Love is spring pressing its green insistence through the hardest ground. Love is an open door in a house that was certain it would die alone. Love is a loud noise, the holy kind, the trumpet that interrupts silence before it becomes permanent. Love is flowing water, refusing every shape that tries to keep it. Love is how we recognize ourselves in the faces of others and remember with a quiet shock that we were never meant to carry this love letter we're writing all the way to the end, unsent. And I'll add to that poem, unreceived. Thank you all.